Well, this is Motorsport, and I'm Bruce McLaren.
Was Sterling Moss, winner of last year's Players 200.
Everything seems to be in readiness for the start of the first Formula One World Championship event ever to be run in Canada. The very top competition in the auto racing world is here. The very top drivers in the world.
Suddenly, the corner gets very tight and goes downhill. It's quite tricky.
You can't make a mistake here. Most operations has always been respected and feared, I think, by some of the greatest drivers.
And the Canadians, heavyweights.
They actually start the turn before they can see the turn.
Yeah, and to say almost is quite kind because I think he is.
In 1984, lost 1,000 kilometers into the leading roads from Jackie. That's a surprise.
It is Miguel Duhamel on the Suzuki, followed by McGregor and the rest of the riders through turn
He
number
knows
3.
if I qualify ahead of him this weekend, I have no chance of winning.
Kenny Williams sprints into the lead, and something's happened back in the Ronnie Fellows over the crest of the hill, breaking into turn number 8. Spinard on the inside. Here goes Ronnie Fellows up to the outside.
We're racing at Motorsport. Scott Sharp got a great start there. In fact, Jack
Inside the final turn, here it comes, inside the alley Williams. Holy man, how they compare. And look at this in the celebration.
Moving so rapidly at Canadian Motorsport Park of the race course. And one of the things you might want to do over the course of the race weekend, make sure you stop by and visit the marketplace there in Motorsport Park.
You see this line corner going here to turn number 2. Wins in Canada.
Soldiers, sailors, airmen and women enlist in the armed forces for many reasons, including a sense of duty, patriotism, the adventure, travel, and adrenaline. When service members are injured or wounded and can no longer perform their military duties, they quickly find themselves removed from their team, no longer serving the purpose for which they trained.
I came back from Afghanistan in 2013, and it was kind of a trial and error of finding out, after the military, what's next in life.
Motorsports offers an opportunity to regain that sense of identity within a safe, fast-paced team environment, providing a renewed sense of purpose. Like in the military, in motorsports the goal is in accomplishing the mission, winning as a team, collectively celebrating the successes and supporting teammates through the losses. Operation Motorsport also offers virtual engagements and recovery opportunities through an iRacing league, engaging beneficiaries in a safe, competitive environment from the comfort and safety of their home. Operation Motorsport believes in the power of team, identity, and purpose.
Last season, we toured the world of North America in the world of sports car racing with Operation Motorsports. This time, we take it to a whole nother level as we bring in the prototypes for our Pro class, but also still keep the GT3s for our Open and Beneficiary class. With that, we welcome you to Podium Esports coverage of the first round of the 4th season of the Operation E Motorsports iRacing League powered by RECARO. Live from iRacing's virtual Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Bowmanville, Ontario. Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Taylor Harris, joined by my colleague in the booth, of course, Rachel Whiteford and Terry Radford. Our producer for this evening is Gary Sexton. Gary is using cameras created by the great Dougie Beard. Rachel and Terry, we are here to welcome once again another season of Operation Motorsports, and I gotta say, it's great to have everyone that we see back. A lot of returning favorites, some new up-and-coming drivers, but a great way to kick off at a circuit that provides a lot of excitement and a lot of entertainment. Rachel, it's exciting to be back here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
It certainly is. It's a fantastic circuit that gives us a load of amazing racing action. It was one of our best races last season for Operation Motorsport, and I cannot wait to see what the guys put on today, especially with the curveball from last season, of course, changing the car to something much, much, much faster for that Pro category. Now, we talk about the categories here, which is an important one to be distinct about. The pros are drivers who have a competition license, either past or present, in IMSA, SRO, CTC, or another sanctioning body. They have an iRacing Class A road license with a SR over 3.99 and an iRating over 1900. So they are our pro drivers. They have the blue boards. The open class are guys who have at least a D-class road rating, and they are a serving service member or a veteran not enrolled in OPMO. They are either a staff member or a supporter of OPMO, and these guys are basically here to have fun. They take part, they help support the racing. That's the red boards. Now, the important category here is the beneficiary drivers. They are the green board. They're enrolled in Operation Motorsports programs, and they are taken care of in this series. They are our main focus here. And the open and beneficiary classes are driving the GT3 cars, which include the BMW M4 GT3, the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Mercedes AMG GT3. I keep saying GT3. You know they're all the GT3 class, the Porsche 911, and the McLaren MP4-12C, the biggest mouthful in motor racing.
Certainly is, and of course they are joined also by the Dallara P217. That will also be the main car of focus for the Pro class. But Terry, why don't we take a look at this wonderful circuit here of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park?
Yeah, man, let's take a look over here at what Canadian Tire Motorsports Park has. We're going to run the Grand Prix course here this afternoon. It's 2.4 miles as we go a little bit north of the border here up in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada. It's good to be on this broadcast, I tell you that much. But for this big racetrack that you look right here where the start-finish line comes in on the right side of the screen. And then they're going to come down, hit 1, and then they're going to go into 2A. I think 5A, 5B, and 5C is going to be the most challenging for the drivers. The faster cars are going to come up, and the prototypes are going to be getting a good run here. I said going to be. Man, forget what I'm saying. I'm so excited to be calling this for this whole season and working with Rachel and Taylor this afternoon. It's going to be awesome.
And of course, we cannot and look forward to working with you as well, Terry. But before we get things going here tonight, we have a very special interview coming up. At this time, we would like to play an interview of a recently recorded interview with Angela Tagarello, is the manager of sales and marketing at iRacing, as she has a special announcement. Enjoy.
Good evening. We're joined this evening by Angela Tagarello. She is the manager of sales and marketing for iRacing. Welcome, Angela, to the Podium Esports broadcast.
Good evening, and thank you for having me on.
Angela, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at iRacing?
I've worked for the company since 2008, right before launching to the public, and I'm currently working in the marketing department as the manager of sales and marketing.
Can you talk a little bit about iRacing's interest in partnering with Operation Motorsport?
iRacing is really excited to come together with Operation Motorsport and such a great program helping the veterans and active military community. We love what Operation Motorsport has done, and we wanted to help out as well. This league allows the community to race together, have fun, and maybe even make new friends. I can't wait to watch all the races.
From iRacing's perspective, how does this partnership further engage the military and veteran communities?
We're happy to support the veteran initiatives and anything that can improve mental health. It's great that our platform can be used in this way. iRacing is such a great community of sim racers. It's a perfect fit for the veteran community, and I only see that portion of the community growing. This partnership is personal to me because we have so many freedoms thanks to our veterans and active military. I'm glad in some way we're able to give back.
Can you talk about any new content or exciting updates coming to iRacing in the near future?
This past release, we've added some really great content and new features. Just to name a few, the Honda Civic Type R, the Hyundai Elantra NTC, the Mercedes AMG F1 W12 E-Performance, Knock Hill Racing Circuit, a fully rescanned Watkins Glen International, and so much more. We're so excited to see Operation Motorsport utilize the new content in the future. Each season, we continue to make improvements and add new features and content. We have a lot of new exciting stuff coming in 2022. So stay tuned for what's next.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Angela. We look forward to our partnership with iRacing, and thank you for your involvement in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you to Angela for the great interview and perspective on iRacing's new partnership with Operation Motorsport. Thank you to iRacing for the new partnership. Of course, tonight's race, we have a lot of great partners who are a part of this wonderful series and organization with Operation Motorsport. Of course, the biggest one is RECARO. Whether it's on the track or iRacing, RECARO Automotive is all about making the driving safer, more comfortable, and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. RECARO Automotive puts people first every time. An ergonomic sitting position means a comfortable position with perfect seats, contours, and innovative features that support your body. RECARO Automotive makes driving fun, be it on the road or on the racetrack. RECARO Automotive's performance seats are more than just a set of components. They exude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. For more information, visit their website at www.recaro-automotive.com. RECARO Automotive is proud to support Operation E Motorsport iRacing. As we see here, qualifying is just about to finish up here. It's still about a minute to go. Looking at some of the times that we see right now, currently it is Dave Hines in the prototype class that has the pole. Also, we have Matt Smotherman, who has the pole for the beneficiary class, and Taylor Parson, who has the pole for the open category here, as we will be giving you the full field rundown of your starting lineup here for the season opener at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Rachel, as we get ready to go through the starting lineup, we have a lot of returning favorites. I see John May has returned to see if he can defend his championship from Season 3. Hunter Reeve as well, who picked up a season. Who are some of the ones who you've been watching here as we get ready to get started with this race?
I think the ones that we always keep an eye out on, really, from that class of people, like Adam Poppenhaus is very quick. Hunter Reeve is incredibly quick. We've got some new guys, of course, coming in, but it's Winker, it's May. Those are very, very fast drivers. I'm looking forward to seeing what we see from people like Cartier, from Smotherman as well. Those guys are newer, so we'll look forward to seeing what they can put on the track. And Connor Price as well, he's going to be a good one. We'll have to see how this plays out. But my biggest thing to see today, how these prototypes play with the GT3 cars. Because, not going to lie, we had a bit of a discussion before the broadcast, didn't we? Over on how many of them are going to hit GT3 cars. I think I set on 4.
You certainly did. It's going to be a very interesting situation. Looking at the times, it's about a 10-second gap between the two different categories of racing, between the LMP2s and the GT3s. As the checkered flag is out, qualifying has come to a conclusion. And with that, we will give you your starting lineup for tonight's action here at the season opener. With that, it is Chris Walsh who will start on the front row on the pole with a 107.392. He'll start alongside Dave Hines in second position. Brennan Cedric will be starting in third, followed by Rodney Campbell, open class champion from season 3. Jason Stanley will be starting in the fifth position, followed by Martin Wallace in sixth. Tyler Gilmetti will be starting in seventh. Travis Hill will be the last prototype, starting in eighth, but Matthew Smotherman will be starting in the ninth position as your pole sitter for the beneficiary class. Taylor Parson will be your pole sitter for the open class, rounding out your top 10.
11th place, Connor Price from the beneficiaries class, along with Hunter Reeve in the 44 machine in 12th. Open class is Thomas Outzen in 13th, with Adam Poppenhaus from the beneficiaries in 14th. Jacob M. Williams there from the I Don't Know class in 15th, with Jake Steinbrink from the open class in 16th. 17th is Tyler Beeman of the same class. Behind them, 18th and 19th, John May and John Winker, two to keep an eye on here from the beneficiaries, with Tyler Reed in 20th from the open class.
Sitting there in 21st will be Russell Elizondo. He's in the open. And you got Tim Bernard in the beneficiary. Glenn Gray in 23rd. Open class. Dan Fendick is there with Jay Gleason. Mark Bray in 26th. Chris Matthews 27th. Rick Hazlitt in 28th. USONC2 is in the open class in 29th. And rounding out your 30-car field is going to be Philip Chartier in the beneficiary class.
Here, the last car in the last beneficiary. 30 cars out here on the track. 8 prototypes going to be leading the field behind the iRacing Porsche pace car as we get things ready to go. As we say, Terry, as we get ready to start, your thoughts on this exciting moment as we get ready to watch these 2 different classes of cars, 3 different classes of drivers getting ready to go out here for the next 30 minutes.
Man, as somebody who served and gets to be a part of this right here, it's awesome to see that iRacing has came on board with such an amazing class of cars, and to watch them come to Canadian Tire to kick off this season and to see the schedule that's lined up here. It dang near brings a tear to my eye, and I hope people are watching, and I hope people are tuning in and just pays attention to how much you can help veterans and how much veterans love to come out here and race. And what better cars to do it in than the different classes that we have out here this afternoon. It's going to make for a very exciting race as they try to twist and turn through some of these very tight technical corners.
It certainly is. Of course, we have a lot of great, amazing circuits that we will be competing at. Our next race will be on the 21st as we head to wine country to Sonoma. To kick off the new year, we head over to Belgium to Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps. Then we head to the World Center of Racing at Daytona, followed by heading back to Canada to Montreal, followed by a trip to, of course, Virginia International Raceway. Rounding out the season, we head to Watkins Glen, and then, of course, end the season at Sebring for a stellar performance here. A lot of great, interesting circuits, Rachel, that will test the mights of all of our drivers this season.
Yeah, certainly will. Can't wait to see what we're going to have this season. It's going to be incredibly exciting for these guys. I am ready for a big, fun season here of racing. And let's see if the Space Force can go positive on its points this season.
It's going to be interesting to see if that will be the case. Of course, we will have the unofficial military branch championship that we will talk about throughout the season. Rachel will be tallying the points for the most part as they work their way through one of the most treacherous corners here under Space Speed, Moss Corner. A lot of great passing opportunities, Rachel, that we will see, but the importance is to get the good corner exit to help carry you down the Mario Andretti Straight.
Can't wait to see what they do here, and coming down the long straight here, which is actually a weird one because you don't follow the typical racing line. You stay straight to the right hand side there. It's a shallower grade for them, so it's actually the faster line. And spoiler alert, the Space Point. Spoiler alert, the Space Force won't get any points.
Well, they're off to not the best start to the season right now for the Space Force as they work their way through the S's and into the final corner. 10 turns here into White's corner before they make the short shoot over into turn number 1. We're happy to have you with us here as we see the pace car make the hard turn down towards pit road. Barney the Flagman will have the green flag in hand, and we are underway here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. A great jump for the 104 of Chris Walsh as he heads down into turn number 1. Rachel, let's take a look at that beneficiary class.
Yes, and here we go. Smotherson leading them away now through turn 1 into turn 2 now. Diving it down through the big left-hander. Double apex left. Can be tricky. You can wash out here onto the outfield. This will come through nice and cleanly. Smotherson getting a good run there with Price behind him. And to Reeve in third place. He's going to be a challenging one here. I think this is going to be the one to keep a real eye on. He, we know, has got a lot of speed. But do not write off John May. He's a bit further back, but he knows his track very well.
He certainly does, knows how to handle, knows how to win in this championship series as we see our prototypes and GT cars now working their way out of Moss Corner, heading down the Mario Andretti Straight. Terry, when we come to you, take a looking at the open category as Taylor Parson has quite a big gap over his competitor of Thomas Oateson, who sits second in that open category.
Yeah, Taylor Parson running the Canadian theme out here, bringing a little bit of flavor. You see him sitting right there. He's in P2 in his class, where he's running. He's right behind Matt. In the technical corner, we watched him go into Moss Corner right there, and then they headed down the Mario Straight. But when I watched him get into the corner, he was able to wheel it just a little bit better than Matt was able to. And I think the great equalizer that's going to be happening here is some of these corners are very tight and technical. Coming through one right here, exiting. You got to make sure you don't get in the grass, and then they come down to one. Man, this is such a treacherous corner because you can miss it by a mile, and you're going into the tire barriers.
Very difficult indeed as they climb up the hill once again through Quebec and then make the short run over to turn 4 before they head back into Moss Corner. A great battle between the overall GT leaders. Of course, your top 3 is being held by one of the new GT3 cars added to the iRacing service, the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo. So we saw that added a couple of builds ago, but as they see here, we will see who else will have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with the addition of a couple of new GT3 cars, as we see the Lamborghini and BMW hot on the trail. That is Hunter Reeve, as well as Connor Paris in his Lamborghini as they work their way down the Mario Andretti Straight.
Yeah, they are a big run here. A huge knot of cars still. Everyone's still really bunched up, and we're not going to see the real conundrum of this season until those prototypes, those Delaras, get around to lapping, because there's such an overspeed. Last season there was not. The cars were kind of similar. However, those prototypes are very aero. They are high downforce, meaning they corner very differently to the GT cars. They can take different lines, they can be unpredictable, and honestly, that will be our big factor this season. How well you handle getting lapped, how well you work around that traffic will be huge for all classes.
And Rachel, I find it interesting right here. I'm actually paying attention to the lap times when they came around here for the second lap on the racing surface. And you talked about the prototypes being so fast. They're ran a 1 minute 7 second lap time, and they're wrecking.
That was in Moss Corner 5A. The first part was one of the BMWs. I think that was a 28 machine, if I am correct. We don't have a 28 machine, but it was a 2 in there somewhere. We have it here. Here he is.
Let's take a look right here. It's the 23 of Thomas Oateson and loops it around hard contact into the tire barrier of that BMW M4. We'll try to rejoin the track. A little bit of damage to the rear end of that car. Have to rejoin carefully because we got a couple of prototypes in the mix of this GT3 field now, Rachel.
Yeah, that's a brake bias job. He just put too much on the hammers there with steering input, and the car got unsettled. That's one thing you have to worry about with these cars. Braking is something you need to be aware of. So, unfortunately, he just bit off a bit too much there. It was going a little hot. He spun around, but he got it back going. He's running again. He's going to have some damage for sure. I'll be surprised if there's not a bit of wheel damage from that thing, but the car still seems relatively competitive, although he's clunking those curbs. So, then again, it's a BMW. I don't think they forgot to install the blinkers.
The Resilience Racing BMW showing the resilience it needs to continue pressing forward in this field as it'll go to the outside of one of the Ferraris. That's the 64 of Jay Gleason, who will now go to the inside as they work through Quebec. Still side-by-side action right there as they come out of there. Give the position, though, to Thomas as he goes underneath the Continental Bridge.
I'm very interested in how he backed it into the tire barrier right there, because he didn't really get a whole lot of damage when you take a look at the back of that BMW. Very good job getting on the brakes there. I know he kind of wheel hopped it going into the corner right there in Moss, and that's going to happen. You carry a ton of speed going down that hill, and then you start climbing back up before you have to get on the binders to turn into that right-hander. But it's very hard to make that transition from on the loud pedal to on the binders, and then you get down to make that turn. Sometimes you just want to kind of kick it a little bit, and most people that are watching probably like, man, what's this NASCAR dude doing over here? I'm getting my feet wet. I'm dipping my toes into some road racing, and what a better way to do it than Canadian Tire with the prototypes and the BMWs and the Ferraris.
Certainly is, as we keep an eye on the battle for the Pro Class lead. Chris Walsh has about a half a second advantage over Dave Hines as they come out of White's corner across the start-finish line here. Fastest time of the race so far has to go to Chris Walsh with a 107.457. Absolutely flying around the circuit as they head downhill through Clayton, catching the tail end of the GT3 field as Philip Cartier in the McLaren is right there. He's going to be put one lap down here very quickly as they come out of Quebec.
Yeah, doing what they can to keep the cars in line here. We're still running in very tight formation with these guys, so it's about managing your track space. And the prototypes there's still, like we mentioned, some mixed in there, so it's going to be a thing. But we noticed the lap times. It's a full 10 seconds faster a lap. That is significant gains, and it's mostly all in the corners. You do see some straight line speed, but the biggest difference will be how fast they corner. And we're seeing them pushing through now, and they're going left, they're going right. They can't make their minds up. This is going to get spicy real soon.
It certainly is going to be very interesting to see as they work their way through. One car clips the curbing just a little bit right there as they still try to battle on through. That's Brandon Cedric and Jason Stanley battling their way through. Throw in Dave Hines in the mix as well as we take a look at the replay. There you see the 57 of Dave Hines. There you see also your race leader, Chris Walsh, hits the curb a little bit, goes for a ride. Side by side as they try to split the Ferrari, but they think better of it. Walsh able to hold on to the race lead as they come through. Beautiful job of just keeping heads up, and a good round of applause for that 64 of Jake Leeson to not cause too much chaos as he's trying to set up through this corner. We're right on board now with Dave Hines as he takes the peak. Can't really work his way around because he has that 64 Ferrari in front of him.
And this is what's going to be the most interesting part is the braking zones. When you get down here, Rachel alluded to it, that the brakes are different, the downforce is different, the speed is different, all the ways that they can move the car around. You see the prototypes, they're able to go from left to right without scrubbing the speed off, and that's hard. They're taking it 3 wide. The BMWs and the Ferraris know that they have to move out of the way, because when they get up there on you, the prototypes are bigger. They take up much more surface area than the other cars do on this racetrack, and in such tight corners and narrow straightaways, it's a lot harder to see them do what they got to do. You look right here on board with Brandon, you see him going down to the corner, and look just how quick the closing rate is, and he's going to catch the next 3 cars in front of him, or the next 2 cars, because he's out of the prototype up there rather quick. Get into one. He's already caught him, he's passing him. Everybody's moving out of the way and having a respectful show so far.
They certainly are, and even though they are working their way through some lap traffic, the times have significantly dropped throughout the field. Currently, Rodney Campbell is the fastest car on the racetrack as he is in that 5th position as they work their way through. One car through the grass. Big contact right there through Moss as a victim has been collected. That's the 86 of Brandon Cedric. Let's get a look at that replay. Rachel, somebody considered a GT3 car as a rally car in that segment.
I think it might be the case, but it was actually no. It was a prototype there who decided that prototype go brr, because it started much earlier in that incident, and he sent him sideways, and it was just slammed it up the inside there, made contact with the GT3 car that had its own line and was taking its racing position. I have to say here, that GT3 car, you see, was going to his racing line. The prototype's like, excuse me, no, and came through it then. Of course, he was sent offline. He had nowhere to go. And as Miley Cyrus once said, he came in like a wrecking ball.
That wrecking ball, of course, with the 07 of John Winker from the beneficiary in his Ferrari. Unfortunate for him, was running inside at least the top 15, as he will now enter into his pit box, the 86 of Brandon Cedric. He will get his service required on that LMP2 car.
Yeah, that was a tough break right there. But I mean, you talked about the prototype pushing him off the track just a little bit, made a tad bit of contact with the driver there, and yeah, it turned into a rally car real quick. And old jumpy trucks come out in the in the prototypes this afternoon.
Take a look at our beneficiary class leader. That's Matt Smotherman, who is leading in his 84 Ferrari, has had the pole overall in the GT3 class and has never looked back. He currently has to hold off the drivers of Hunter Reeve and Connor Paris, who are also in the top three. Tyler Beamon is your open class leader in fifth overall in that GT3 class in his Lamborghini. But the top four is currently held by beneficiary class drivers and Ferraris.
Yeah, they really are. And we saw this last season, although we do occasionally have the odd Mercedes come through to warm my heart, but not apparently right now, as seeing the Ferraris once again be a dominant car for the GT3 class. And we're starting to see some interesting momentum happening as we get that lapping process beginning here on track. But it's definitely becoming a lot more, should we say, diverse on the racetrack, which I'm totally down for. It makes it much more interesting.
It makes it very interesting indeed as we see the 44 on screen. That is Hunter Reeve, who ran a Porsche in Season 3 a season ago, had a couple of good runs, picking up one win at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And he decided to switch over to the Italian mark, as a couple of LMP2 cars will look to the outside down the Mario Andretti straight and make short work of him as he enters in through the S's.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see right now with what Matt Smotherman's doing. He's 5 seconds ahead of Hunter at the moment. And we saw him on the initial start of this race that they were so tight-knit together. And Hunter's not doing anything wrong. He's actually running the track pretty well. He's very smooth when he goes in the corner. Look, he's in fourth. He goes from third to fourth, comes down into the corner. He's going to get that straight exit off, going to get a little bit of the curb, and then when he comes into one, he'll get all the way to the rev limiter, make this beautiful arc that he's going to make here, and then he's going to push the gas right there, and it's going to send him to that one. Then he swings it back out, fifth to fourth to third, get through this tight corner. He really isn't doing anything a whole lot different than what Matt's doing, but it's just a little bit extra speed and a little bit extra more confidence for Matt, I believe, that's kind of propelled him to 5 seconds ahead of right now where Hunter's at.
Certainly has running a very good line as you ride on board with him. And he really puts a crank on that wheel through Moss as they work their way through and now heads down the Mario Andretti straight. I do see one driver out on the track, Rachel, that is in your favorite Mercedes. That's the number 10 machine of the USO North Carolina. He sits in the 18th overall in GT3 class, looking to see if he can get a few more spots before it's all said and done.
Yeah, we'd love to know who that is at some point, because we believe they are just a random service member on a USO sim rig somewhere, so hopefully they're sober, I'd like to think. I doubt, but you never know. Either way, we'll find out as they try and move their way up from 18th, currently a little bit further forwards. But this race is definitely evolving in a really interesting way, so I think we have something coming up that we need to touch on. Taylor?
We certainly do. We'll actually go ahead and get ready to touch that. But we have to tow our driver spotlight. And Rachel, we have, of course, a defending and former champion who is in charge of that driver spotlight here for tonight.
Yeah, we certainly do. And that is John May, who was our Season 3 beneficiary class champion. And a little bit about John. Well, he's married and the father of 2 young daughters, 6 and 11. He's originally from the small town of Covington, Virginia, and service runs deep in his family, as many generations on both sides have served. And this is a long list, so bear with me. He enlisted in the USMC straight out of high school in August 2000. And during his time, he had four combat tours. Iraqi Freedom, which was the Al-Anbar province of Iraq. That was 04 to 05. He had Iraqi Freedom again, in case that wasn't enough, in Al-Anbar province from 05 to 06. He did Enduring Freedom in Africa from 06 to 07, and Enduring Freedom in Helmand, Afghanistan, from March 2012 to 2012 October. He retired in 2016 after 16 years of dedicated service. And honestly, 4 combat tours, that man is a serious hero. After retirement, he went back to school and earned degrees in computer programming and networking, and he soon realized how the effects of PTSD and the lack of rigid discipline and routine had effects on his life, and this difference between the military and civilian worlds, and it affected his mental state. He withdrew from the world. and sim racing was one of the few things that remained enjoyable for him. He spent time trying out different sims and consoles, and he built his own computer to try and connect people through streaming. And he does exactly that. And it's if you go on Twitch and look up Disgruntled USMC, you can find his channel. And John streams over there, and it gives him the opportunity to socialize and to separate himself from social anxiety. It introduced him to iRacing, where he found the home for all his sim racing. And of course, it's also where he actually tied in with Operation Motorsport as a beneficiary. So since joining with Opmo, he's found a great fit within the group, where he states, "Since joining Operation Motorsport, I found a group of racers where I feel like I belong, because we all have the same backstory. We all signed a blank check for something greater than ourselves, and we all are broken in some way. But here, it doesn't matter. We just race to enjoy the moment." Couldn't agree more, John. That is our beneficiary spotlight for today, John May.
Switching over to a different manufacturer as well, as he switches to the McLaren MP412C. And with that, we have crossed over into the halfway point, and with that, it's time to give you the iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing. iRacing enables motorsports and gaming enthusiasts around the world to race against one another online, with more than 100 cars and more than 100 tracks available with over 350 configurations. iRacing delivers the most realistic racing experience you can have on your PC or Mac from the comfort and convenience of your home. With literally thousands of official races every week, there is always someone to race against at iRacing. Start your iRacing career today at iRacing.com. And with that, we will take a side-by-side moment, but when we come back, we will give you the conclusion of tonight's race. You are watching the Operation E Motorsport iRacing Summer League, presented by RECARO.
Being forced to leave a military career filled with purpose and pride can be challenging. Motorsports offers an opportunity to regain that sense of identity within a safe, fast-paced team environment, providing a renewed sense of purpose. Operation Motorsport believes in the power of team, identity, and purpose.
So I fueled the number 19 car for DXDT Racing, CrowdStrike, AWS, our sponsors, this weekend. It's kind of awesome. You know, fueling a car during a race requires, you know, full race suit or full fire suit, full Nomex, underwear, long johns. It's pretty hot in there. It's not too dissimilar than things that you do in the Army, especially. There is a ton of safety with it. You know, race fuel is somewhere between 100 and 110 octane, and if it hits the side exhaust on one of these Mercedes GT3s, it's an instant fire, so it's kind of a big deal. You going over the wall is also a big deal. I mean, that's a kind of rite of passage working a crew, and when you get a chance to go over the wall and you do it right, you nail it the first time, it's always a big deal. I guess as coming to a new team, you know, DXDT's been a partner with Operation Motorsport now for 2 seasons, but stepping up to their GT3 program is a big deal, and they've taken care of me. Getting into a team that is like, hey, don't care where you came from, don't care how you got here, you're here, you're going to work, and you're going to work hard. That's really that's what this whole program is about. So this has been a great weekend here at Sonoma, California. The weather's bore with us mostly, and we're going to enjoy the decently warm weather for early March, and have another great race too today.
You saw it there on your side-by-side. We saw Hunter Reeve along with Tyler Beam on 2 GT3 cars making contact out of Quebec corner as we welcome you back to Podium Esports coverage of Operation E Motorsport iRacing League, presented by RECARO, as well as presented by CTMP. Since 1961, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park has been the leading racing and automotive performance facility in Canada. hosting series ranging from international sports cars to NASCAR on the renowned 3.9-kilometer Grand Prix track. The state-of-the-art facility provides an engaging space suitable for any event, whether you are here for on-track racing action or a personal celebration. CTMP offers the flexibility and capacity to accommodate any event. Look out for the CTMP 2022 season schedule and tickets on sale coming soon. CTMP would like to wish a happy holiday season to all our fans, racers, and servicemen and women everywhere. For more information, including a calendar of upcoming events, please visit CanadianTireMotorsportsPark.com. And as we continue to watch here, just under 10 minutes to go, Chris Walsh, Dave Hines, and Travis Hill lead your top three, as now Rodney Campbell moves up into third in the prototype class. In the beneficiary class, it is Matt Smotherman, followed by Connor Parise, Adam Poppenhaus, and then in the open class, it's the 60 now of Jake Steinbrink, followed by Russell Alonso and Tyler Beamon, your top three in the open category. But Rachel, John May, the disgruntled Marine, along with our spotlight driver for tonight, he's now moved up to fourth in class 6 in the GT3 class overall.
I'm not sure if it's a new car or it's just the track, but he seems to be struggling a little bit more than usual tonight. But it's nice to see he's embraced the crayon connoisseur tendencies of the USMC, though, with that car and the livery on that one today. So nice one there, John, having a bit of fun. But I think it might be a combination of the car and track. It's not been the best for the McLarens here, but we'll have to see what the future brings in the rest of the season to see how well he can compete. But fourth, it's not a bad showing out the gate.
He's under pressure right now from Tyler Beamon in his Lamborghini as they work their way out of Clayton, up the hill through Quebec. Kerry, a great battle between these two competitors.
Yeah, look at the flames popping out of that right there. But what a great shot. You see Operation Motorsports right there on the back of that machine. And as they come down the straight, going down into the corner and heading up into Moss, look at the handwork. Look at everything that they're having to do here. Look at this, just a huge turn. And then it's an even more, it's almost, that's 90 to, or 180 degree turn to get all the way back around there. It goes all the way down the Mario straight. And you see the difference of speed. You climb this corner, and then you're going to dip just a little bit, and then you're going to climb another corner. A lot of elevation changes going on here at this beautiful racing surface. These two drivers are really going to put it all on the line, though, because I feel like a lot of these drivers, they want some bragging rights out here as there goes a prototype to the outside.
Makes quick work of your two GT3 cars. That is, of course, your overall race leader and prototype leader, Chris Walsh, who has pulled it out to about a 3-second lead over the 57 of Dave Hines, who last season, Rachel, in the pro class, was one of the most competitive drivers. He had to put on a very tight battle with Christopher Pies, along with several other major competitors, as one car goes off the track here as they come out of Clayton corner. I'll have to keep an eye and see who that was, but still overall a great battle that we'll be seeing this season.
Oh, 100%. I'm looking forward to seeing what this season brings for us, but I'm also looking forward to see what the new drivers that have come to the season can deliver, and Smotherman is one that's showing real parallax in this car. He's doing a fantastic job so far, as is Parise. That's going to be exciting as well. Two guys up at the front who we haven't seen before, and it's going to make it real interesting for us, as I think. No, he's still on track. It was the car who was just behind them who did pull off there. A couple of guys hitting pit road for various issues, but this is going to be a very exciting season. I think we're going to take a real step up from Season 3.
I cannot agree with you more on that matter as you ride on board. I believe that is the 57 of Dave Hines, who is trying to close the gap between him and his rival Chris Walsh for the season. Rodney Campbell is another 17 seconds back from these two competitors as they work down the Mario Andretti straight. There you see the Mercedes right there, the number 10, one of the USO members who is out there having a go here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. As they work their way through the S's, there you see your overall GT3 leader as well as beneficiary class leader, Matt Smotherman, as he is doing a stellar performance out there on the racing circuit. He currently has a 9-second lead over Connor Parise, a strong performance for his debut run this season.
Yeah, he's had a huge race right here. As you see, Adam Poppenhaus, 17 seconds back, but it really doesn't show the body of work that most of these drivers have been doing. It's hard to keep up with such a massive racetrack. It's over 2 miles long. You think about all the spots that you can maybe slip up, put a tire off the racing surface, go into the grass a little bit. They've kind of just fell back just a little bit, but for Adam right now, P3 in his class, he's got a little bit of a challenge right there to the rear between him and Jake. It's going to be an interesting race to see who gets the podium in this class, but I have a wild feeling that as we close to almost under 5 minutes here, it's only about 2 more laps if you think about it with some of these classes. So the race is just going to get tighter.
This is a battle for the GT3 class position podium. Of course, these two are in 2 different classes. Poppenhaus in the beneficiary class in his Ferrari, while Jake Steinbrink in the Porsche is the leader in the open category in that number 60 as they work through Quebec Corner. As they come out of there underneath the Continental Bridge, they'll head down into the downhill section before having to make the big uphill climb through Moss. Respectable driving between these 2 drivers, Rachel, as they know they're wanting to have a good performance for the start of the season, but they realize they're in 2 totally different classes. No need to put on any pressure, just race and finish it off on a strong note.
Yeah, it may be the same car, but they're not in the same race, so there's nothing to be gained by fighting each other, so they're not going to, which is exactly what you need to do mindset-wise in multi-class racing. It's very easy to think, ego, I don't want a car to pass me, but when they're not important, it's extremely important to let them go, especially if you are very similar speeds because of it being the same car type. You'll find that you want to get rid of them ASAP. That way, when a faster car comes up from your own class, you're not hogged up with them.
And you know, Rachel, another point to think about with this is what we will see in the 2022 IMSA calendar season with the introduction, of course, to the 2 GT3 styles, the GTD Pro and the GTD classes, where it's just GT3 cars, but it's just a difference of the pro drivers versus the pro and amateur driver classes that we'll be seeing. So we get to have a first glimpse of that here on iRacing as we see the 104 of Chris Walsh just slicing and dicing his way through the lap traffic.
Yeah, it really is. My gosh, he's going for this thing. It's like he's got somewhere to be. Oh yeah, he does. It's the checkered flag that's coming up soon. We're going to see probably 3 laps remaining for Protos. Maybe it'll be 2 for the GTs, but it's definitely looking like we'll see them pass the flag before we get to that point. So it may be 2, maybe 3, but I'm thinking it's on the ballpark of 3 here, as they are definitely going to some of the other cars sometimes. Be careful, boys.
Dave Hines now is making short work of one of the Ferraris. That's Russell Alonso, who is second in the open category, trying to hunt down his competitor Jake Steinbrink, who is 7.5 seconds up the road. He's going to need a little bit of help here as we see Chris Walsh working his way through the S's, coming up to White's Corner here. 2.5 minutes left to go. As let's take a quick look at the LMP2 Pro Class 3rd position battle. That's starting to get a little bit spicy as Travis Hill and Rodney Campbell go into a battle.
Yeah, I've kind of watched Rodney start to catch up a little bit, and I was paying attention to what the lap times were showing. 1:08.1 to a 1:08.5 was the difference there, and that's the difference of getting on the gas at a different point. I mean, it's a very minute spot here, but I've been watching them go up. Rodney's been able to roll through the corner just a little bit better. But for some reason, Travis is able to get back on the gas. The wheels aren't spinning on the rear. He's not sliding it as much as you see right here. Just a different shake of lines. Oh, man, he almost got contact there going into the corner.
That was one of the Ferraris that they were working past. That's the open category competitor of Rick Hasselett. He sits 15th overall in the GT3 category. Currently out of the open categories, he is sitting outside the top 5, I would have to say, in the 9th position in the open category. So looking to see if he can maybe try to overcome it. He's trying to currently hunt down the 75 of Tyler Reed is his next target.
Yeah, he's going for it as well as he can, but it's going to be a struggle with time remaining here. There's not a lot left on the clock, and we're under a minute in about 1, 2, 3, under a minute now. Okay, I was accurate. As this is going to really cut things down. I think with our proto leader heading towards that point, I think this may be our white flag.
Yeah, the prototype leader of Chris Walsh has just now got up to the top of the hill of Moss Corner. We should be seeing that white flag in the air for him. It's now 40 seconds left to go as he will come down the Mario Andretti straight. Will he have enough time to get to the line and run one more lap, or will the clock expire and this will be the final lap? We will have to wait and see. I think he's going to be right on the edge of having to run one more lap. He's coming through the S's right now, 20 seconds and closing. We're going to have to run at least one more lap. Barney the Flagman will have the white flag in the air. We're going to go one more time around Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Man, you would have thought that old Chris Walsh right there would have pedaled it just a little bit, but he had a 1.4 second or 1.8 second lead, and I don't know if he was throttling it a little bit or trying not to have to run this extra lap to put himself in harm's way. But Dave Hines, he started making a run up there, and now it's down to 1.2. I've always learned this on road courses, and it was something that was taught to me a long time ago, that if you're within a second of another driver, that's one mistake. Every second you have is a mistake. So for me, I make a ton of mistakes on them, but these drivers ain't made a whole lot tonight.
As we watch the field head down the Mario Andretti straight, this is for the final time. Hines is trying to close the gap. It's 1.1 now between these two. Walsh trying to cut through some lap traffic as quickly as possible to have no issues, no mistakes. He's run a clean race since the start through the S's for the final time as he comes out of White's corner. Christopher Walsh will take home his first win of the season at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. We now go to Rachel for the beneficiary class leader.
Yeah, we certainly do, and it's going to be Matt Smotherman coming out now to the final corner. He'll come across the line here at Mosport and take his first win in the series.
And now we go to Terry Radford with our open category race leader.
The race leader for them right now is Rodney, but he is... He's had a bit of an issue here. I don't believe he has finished just yet. He had just a tad bit of an accident, but Rodney Campbell is turned around there, and he come across the line there in fifth, and I'm waiting to see if he can get that thing fired back up.
Jake Steinbrink is actually your open category winner as he comes to line. Rodney Campbell is in the prototype class, so we'll take a quick look and see what happened to Rodney, if we can get a replay on that. But it looks like some heavy contact while entering over into the S's.
Dang live time, and then it got me. It showed Rodney Campbell as the open class there. Yeah, you're right. It was Jake. Jake's the one that wins the open. Sometimes technology bites you in the butt, man.
It certainly does. But with that, we see your beneficiary class winner and GT3 overall class winner, Matt Smotherman, taking home the win in dominant fashion. He got the pole. He's led every lap and takes home the win. And with that, we'll go ahead and give you your full field rundown of tonight's race. Chris Walsh is your race winner, followed by Dave Hines in second place. Travis Hill will come home in third, followed by Tyler Gilmetti in fourth. Jason Stanley will come home in the fifth spot, followed by Rodney Campbell in sixth position. Seventh place goes to Martin Wallace with Brandon Cedric. Those three drivers all finish one lap down. Matt Smotherman will be your beneficiary class winner and GT3 class winner, followed by Connor Parise in rounding out your top 10, second in beneficiary.
11th place tonight coming home is going to be Adam Poppenhaus in the beneficiaries class there with Jake Steinbrink from the open class, who I believe came home and took the win for that group there. We have John May in 14th place as well, along with Tyler Beeman from the open class and Mark Bray from open, 15th and 16th. 17th and 18th is Dan Friedrich from the open class and Tim Bernard from the beneficiaries, with 19th Chris Matthews of the open and Taylor Parsons of the open.
Coming down here to 21st, you got Glenn Gray. 22nd, you got Tyler Reed. Hunter Reeve finished in 23rd. He was in the beneficiary class with John Winker and Philip Cartier. Sitting there in 25th, Rick Haslett in 26th, Jake Gleason 27th. Our random guy from the USO North Carolina, that is pretty cool, down there in 28th. Thomas Outson in 29th. And rounding out your 30-car field is Jacob Williams.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will speak to your podium finishers in the beneficiary class. You are watching Podium Esports coverage of Operation E Motorsport iRacing League presented by RECARO.
Welcome back to Operation E Motorsport here on Podium Esports, and we are here in the post-race show. Of course, Operation Motorsport is a veteran-led and operated company, not-for-profit, I should say, based in Brighton, Ontario and Raleigh, North Carolina, serving Canadian and American service members and veterans, and was founded on the basis of 3 simple words: excite, engage, and empower. The premise is to engage ill and injured service members and veterans affected by their military service through motorsport activities to aid in their recovery and rehabilitation. To find out more information, please visit operationmotorsport.org. Also, don't come back from commercial breaks with a frog in your throat. That never helps. Speaking of which, we're going to interview our first driver tonight. That is your class winner for the beneficiaries, Matt Smotherman. So let's get him up in here now as we get a chance to chat to him. We have Matt Smotherman with us right now. Matt, how you got it?
Hi, how are you doing?
Fantastic, and I should be congratulating you on your debut win.
Thank you very much. I'm a bit sweaty after that one, but thank you.
Well, I didn't need to know about that. I'm sure you'll find a towel, but how was the race for you?
The race was good. It was really good. This is, like you said, this being my debut race with the league. This is my first time racing with the guys, accepting the test race that we had last week. It's a good group of guys, good race, good environment. So it was really enjoyable time out there.
Certainly was. What did you find at the track here, Canadian Tire?
I honestly, it took me a little while to warm up to it, but I actually really like it. I think it's got a lot of really good flow to it, and once you actually get the feel for where those little turn-in points are, because they're not necessarily as obvious as they are on other tracks, once you get synced up with it, it feels really, really nice.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared were you of the prototypes today?
I'd say about a good 7. A good 7. That last lap, whenever I had the first and second place, I think overall coming up on me, I was going to do everything that I could to get out of the way.
I could imagine. And on the most important topic, of course, what military branch do you represent?
The Army National Guard. Actually.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Good choice. Good choice. There we go.
Thank you.
Army on the board with 3 points for the branches championship here in round 1, the way it should be, of course. But Of course, as we have to announce, sadly, the Space Force is already on -20 because they still lack door gunners for the shuttle. And the shuttle. So that's -40 now. Either way, Matt, congratulations. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
To my wife Zoe, if she's actually watching.
There you go. To his wife Zoe, if she's actually watching, he wants to give you a shout out. Thank you very much for joining us, Matt. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
And I believe we have the one and only Taylor standing by with our second place finisher.
We certainly do, as we get ready to pull him up. That is Connor Parise. Connor, a strong performance for you in your Lamborghini to come home second place in the beneficiary class. How was the drive out there as you make your debut this season?
It was rather uneventful, and that was good. It seemed like the rest of the second, third, fourth fastest guys kind of ran into issues, so just try to keep my nose clean and paid off.
Now, we all also ask you as well, how was it dealing with the faster of cars such as the prototypes going around you for those first 30, or for the entire 30 minutes of this race?
There was a couple of hairy moments. Their closing rate is quite substantial, so just trying to time it and be predictable is always important. I wish I was driving those cars. I love driving them way more than these GT3s, but it is always fun doing multi-class racing.
Well, we leave the greater north of Canada and we head to the northern part of California for Sonoma. Your thoughts on racing at a circuit? Technical, a lot more intricate, as well as more undulating corners, as well as just everything different compared to what we see here at Canadian Tire. Your thoughts on this circuit?
Well, I certainly prefer the rallycross version of Sonoma, but I'll do my best next week.
All right. Well, before we let you go, going to turn it over to Rachel for the unofficial military branch awards.
You can just ask him what branch he is as well. It flows so much better.
It does, but you know what, Rachel? You always had this idea, so we have to let you take over with this one.
Oh, apparently he's blaming me. Connor, which branch do you represent?
The best one.
Of course. Congratulations to the Army. That's another 2 points.
No.
Oh, really?
Really? It's Air Force.
Air Force? What? Okay, Air Force gets 2 points. This is a first. There we go. They struggled last season. In fact, if I look at my results from last season, we had the Army on 31, obviously. The Navy was in a big fat life ring. The Air Force had 1, because apparently you can't get very good Wi-Fi at motels. And the Marines were on 12. So there we go. 2 points for the Air Force. I've marked them up already. A doubling of points from last season, so congratulations, Connor.
Thank you.
That is Connor Parise coming home in second place, as Terry Radford has caught up with our third place finisher in the beneficiary class, Adam Poppenhaus.
What's up, Adam? How you doing, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Not as good as you. P3 here tonight, and I like the side of the car, man. Do it for Dale with the Mountain Dew side out there. It put a big smile on my face to see that going on, but man, how'd you get it done? Technical corners here at Canadian Tire, a lot of fast speeds, and you also had to kind of, move around for the prototypes to come through. But what was the most interesting part of your race?
Oh, man, without a doubt, keeping track of where the LMP cars were coming through and making sure that you set yourself up in a good position for them to get around you. That was just wild. I had an absolute blast. I was sweaty. I've been looking forward to this for a few weeks, and I benefited from some trouble up ahead of me at some point in turn 3, and I just tried to put the skinny pedal down and not look back.
Well, that's what I like to hear, man. So we go from this one, high speeds, a lot of cool passing zones. We go up there to the wine country. I'll start. What's your favorite kind of wine?
Oh, Cabernet. I'm kind of a basic B when it comes to that. Yeah, give me a good cab and I'm on my way.
I don't even think I have a favorite kind of wine. My wife makes me drink the pink something. I think it's Moscato, something like that. But you go up there, different style track. I'll kind of ask the same question that Taylor did, because I'm kind of curious on how many actual veterans and service members actually know they're racing. What's your favorite corner at Sonoma?
Oh, man. Yeah, you're going to catch me. I don't know. I think it's the turn complex, maybe 2 and 3 up the hill. That can be challenging for me in the Ferrari with some of my limitations, but the whole track seems just not like my driving style, so that one will be very challenging, especially throwing LP cars there. I go into that one with very no confidence, so that should be a great race as usual. I can't believe how respectful everybody was today. Just can't thank you guys enough for everything you guys do to put this on to Resilience Racing and Race to a Race 22.
Well, I hope when Rachel asked you what branch you served, or you serve in or served, you're going to say the right one. So Rachel, take it away.
Okay, Adam, I have a serious question. Do you have muddy feet, wet feet, slippers? Do they make crayon shoes? I don't know, probably. Space boots, or I don't know, like what do the Coast Guard wear? I don't know, like clogs. Why not? Which is yours?
I'm a muddy foot guy. I'm a dirty.
There we go, Army. Congratulations again. Got the right answer.
Yeah.
Finally. The last guy, God, he kept trying to say he was in the Air Force. I don't know why. Anyway, congratulations there. That's another point chalked up for the Army. So they're already leading on 4 points.
Right.
Go Army.
Absolutely.
Hell yes.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate your time, and can't wait to see you next week in Wine Country.
Hey, thanks again for everything, you guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, Taylor Burris was an interesting show, and very interesting post-race, too.
It's always an interesting post-race show when we complete and come to a conclusion for the Operation E Motorsport iRacing League. And, of course, before we come to a conclusion, we have a lot of very important people that we have to say thank you to. As we say thank you to the series partners of the Operation E Motorsport iRacing League, presented by RECARO Automotive, iRacing.com, the USO, and finally, Mobile One. With that, it is time that we come to a close, but don't worry, we will be back next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. as we head to Wine Country to Sonoma Raceway. Be sure to tune in on all of Podium Esports. For that, it is time we say goodnight. For Jason Leach and Diesel Lauder, Chris Ramirez, and the entire Operation Motorsport team, for Ryan Bauer, James Pike, Cisco Scarmuza, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, for our producer, Gary Sexton, our camera builder, Dougie Beard, Cameron Aubernon on social media, and for my colleagues in the booth, Rachel Whiteford and Terry Radford, I'm Taylor Burris. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the Operation E Motorsport iRacing Winter League presented by RECARO. We hope to see you next Tuesday from iRacing's virtual Sonoma Raceway. Good night.